Hey guys, we're live. Welcome to the Saturday Night Chat. I did not hear about the shooting until after I named this chat, so we're gonna table the topic of this chat for right now because there was a mass shooting in California. They're calling it a mass shooting anyway. I want to disagree with that under the technical terms of the situation, but I want to do a quick intro here. First, we've got Edge 4006.
Subscribe.
Don't subscribe to him.
Subscribe. You want to see real gun videos? Subscribe.
Yeah, we got gun websites here.
Howdy.
The Glorious Tacoma.
Moshi Moshi, come inside.
I can never remember what Mike wants to
H-U-R. Not a Scott.
Not a Scott.
I'm the Scott.
How you doing?
We got Scott.
How you doing?
And of
Pink Panther
course,
69.
okay. And of course, you got me here. If you don't know who I am, you're definitely in the wrong location.
Shame on you, but stay anyway. This might be interesting.
It just might be interesting. I'm gonna go ahead. We'll be reading all over at gunchannels.com. So go if you wanna check it out. Go over there. If you're not a member, go sign up. It's a great site for everything gun related. It's where
I heard it's a social network for shooters made by shooters.
That's it, yeah.
Hey, exactly it, and it's a great place. I like it. But I'm going to put a link
Want to say this real quick?
in the external. It's a
What are the
Fox News link, so.
What did the Pink Panther say after he stepped on the ant?
First off, I do want to cover how the media is going about portraying this whole thing. Just so you know, before all that happens, it starts out with 3 stabbings, 3 killed by stabbing, and then 3 killed by the gunman, and then the gunman committing suicide.
Oh, he's a
There are
freestyle artist.
injured as well from the gunfire.
Well, he killed people equally with knives and guns. Why do we should? I don't think we should call him a gunman. Why can't we just call him what he is, a killer?
Yeah, exactly it. And all the news media outlets are calling him a mass shooter.
They need a mass shooter, don't they? Elections are coming up, and it's been a little while since they've had something to, make us all.
According to the Huffington Post article, he used a handgun for it.
Yes, he did use a handgun, is what I've been seeing as well.
However, they
I
make
don't want to be a jerk about it, but doesn't it need to be 4 to qualify as a mass shooting? And if you count the guy himself, committing suicide, I mean, is that seriously? This is a guy who was a killer, who was intent on killing. It sounds like. I don't know if you're going to recap the story, but I mean, it sounds like he intended to do this, and I don't think if this was in some anti-freedom person's ideal world with no firearms existed, do you seriously think this kid would not have moved to any other method?
Well, I think statistics always dictate, they don't separate cop killings from, cop killing bad guys with guns as far as gun violence and so on. So
justifiable homicide is what that's called.
It falls under that umbrella of one criteria or whatever.
Yeah, well, here is the thing, and the short synopsis of the story was this kid. He's son of an assistant director from Hunger Games, and there's a reason to put that out there. We're not going to name him. He's an asshole. Period. He starts out. Last week, he had posted videos on YouTube about killing people and committing suicide. His parents, his family, I should say, calls the police and tells them about this and trying to get something done. Obviously, they didn't do anything. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. So they did notify authorities about it. But this asshole then posted another video that it was time for revenge and justification, whatever his video is. I'm not even gonna bother with it. Don't even bother looking it up. It's he's an asshole. Well, there is video about it beforehand, and he goes and kills 3 of his housemates with a knife. Don't know what type of knife, just with a knife. And then gets in his car and goes out and starts shooting people. He was in a shootout with police twice, and then managed to get away the first time. And the second time, he crashes into a parked car and then kills himself. Again, 7 people were injured. Not all of them were shot. The reason I'm saying 7 people were injured, one was hit by the car. Was a skateboarder hit by the car and was injured. So, there were 7 people injured in this whole thing. So whether that be by his reckless driving or him by bullet wounds.
I'm reading the story here that they dropped in the chat, and it looks like this was a long event. It wasn't like just a couple of moments. And it says that he also hit a bicyclist with his car, later on in the series of events. So he used 3 different implements at this point, yet everywhere he's a gunman.
Yeah, everywhere. And that's what really pisses me off. They call him a gunman, but it all starts out with him using a knife. Now, would they still call the person a gunman if he went ahead and killed 10 people with a crossbow and then uses a gun to kill 2 people and then shoots himself?
They probably would.
Well, they probably would. And welcome, Walt. I didn't see you join us there.
How you doing?
Feel free to butt in any time, because I can ramble on and on about how upsetting the national media can be.
Yeah, they talk crap all the time, without a doubt.
It's all about ratings to them.
Okay, I'm about 9 paragraphs down after they talk about his little rampage or whatever. Then it goes, the sheriff listed 3 encounters with the guy dating back to July of 13 when he claimed to be a victim of assault. So, come on. So we have a guy who, do any of us doubt that this guy's going to find out, or we're going to find out that he's on some kind of drugs, right? He's had 3 encounters with the police, yet it's the firearms' fault. They're not mad at the police for having 3 encounters with him and not figuring out that he's a menace. They're not mad at his parents because he's a menace. I mean, I don't want to place the responsibility on people he knows, but it sounds like he had 2 roommates who he claims he would have enjoyed stabbing to death, and they won't confirm that that's what he did, but there's 3 people dead in his room, or in his house. So, again, it's the gun's fault here, right?
Dang it, now I got my mouth work. Sorry about that. Yes, it's always the gun's fault. It's never the person's fault. The gun makes the person evil. And we know how the media likes to portray that side of the whole situation.
It says, again, I'm just obviously going off of one article here. It says that the guy contacted police and accused his roommates of stealing $22 worth of candles and was somehow got his roommate booked into jail for that.
Really?
Well, that's what the thing says. Unless I'm reading it wrong, it says the guy's name, well, we're not going to say, later contacted police and accused his roommates of stealing $22 worth of candles from him. The roommate was booked into jail but released.
Oh, by the way, this is why I forgot to mention at the end of the thing why I mentioned he's son of a director. Well, back in 2001, there was another son of a director of Ally McBeal. Oh, I don't even want to go into that show, but that's a different story. Who used his car to mow down 4 people. And then he was arrested, convicted, and then sentenced to the mental hospital for the rest of his life.
That should be a mass murderer.
Yeah, that should be a mass murder as well. He used his car. But yet, that didn't make national news because he used a car, not a gun.
Oh, and it just gets worse. I'm 2 paragraphs down from that last paragraph I literally read you verbatim, right? And now it goes, the guy, or I think one of the victim's father, and then they say his name, shouted with grief and blamed craven and irresponsible politicians and the NRA for the death of his only son at a press conference. And they've got pictures of this guy, the parent, the father, who's, in my mind, and as far as I'm concerned, he's being exploited. And they're, he's obviously in massive grief. And he's saying, but again, they're making a point of all the things they could say about this. They have to bring up the fact that the father is blaming the politicians in the NRA.
Well, his father is famous.
Well, I just finished watching.
No, a victim, not the asshole.
Oh, the victim. Okay.
One of the victim's parents.
I just posted in the side chat. It's the one of the victim's father that was blaming the NRA.
But if you, I'm not getting Quark said not to go there and check that out. But if you do check out the video of the douchebag talking, he's basically starts off saying that he can't hook up with chicks, so this is why he did it, and he says it over and over again that he did because there's ability to hook up with chicks. I'm gonna do all this. I'm like, wow.
Oh, okay. Now 3 paragraphs in the same article that I linked everybody in the New York Daily News. It talks about, I'm going to count these here. It talks about the event for like the first, let's say 10. I'm just gauging them here, but then there's like 4 paragraphs about the victim's father and how the NRA is at fault and that kind of thing. And then it gets down to like the next section here where it goes, someone noted the severity of the asshole's mental health as indicated by the variety of doctors treating him. Rest my case. Come on, if this is exactly the same situation as every freaking other one, right?
Well, it's almost sounding like it's the same situation as Virginia Tech. I mean, was this guy actually adjudicated, or was he just being treated? Because I don't think that it says that yet.
Oh, sorry. All it says is the variety of doctors treating him, but I'm still not done with the article. But I don't think it's going to... I mean, how can they know that much already?
Well, it's been a day.
That's true.
It's been about 24 hours since it started, so...
If he wasn't adjudicated, then there would have been no reason for him to be denied on a NICS check.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying that I don't think it's deniable that this is going to end up... Well, okay, I should say that.
He looks like a very young guy.
I think it's going to end up that this guy was crazy, off his rocker kind of thing.
No, dude, I mean, you hear his little freaking, what do you call it, deal, his decree that he's talking about, and he's just talking complete shit. And again, starting off with that he couldn't, chicks don't dig him, and he's tried his best, blah, blah, so he's going to retaliate and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow. I mean, who has a hard time meeting with chicks or, got the one you initially wanted, but I didn't... again, this is just fucking crazy, dumb shit, lunatic motherfucker.
Oh yeah, Just Dan will join us, so...
You know what? He did take his daddy's BMW on the rampage as well, so maybe he was suffering a particularly bad case of affluenza.
Yeah.
I think we need to ban BMW since it was a black BMW.
Well, no, we all need to ban BMWs made after 1997.
Is that the year you were born, or what?
Actually,
No,
it's 1985.
I think that's the year that they stopped making the E46. No, the E36. I forget. No, the E36. Yeah.
Yeah, high-capacity vehicles are not allowed. They need to be banned, high-capacity assault vehicles. So in other words, if you can fit 4 in your car, that's a high-capacity assault vehicle.
Well, it sounds like he shot at least 20 rounds when he was fighting with the police at the end. And then he was going around the neighborhood just shooting. And he was hitting people. Like, he hit that guy on the bicycle and smashed his windshield. The person who he hit with the windshield, or the bicycle, hit his windshield. And then I think this is kind of shitty reporting because it's really it's agenda driven in my opinion, but it's not really good. And there's too many like paragraphs and then a picture and then 2 paragraphs and then 3 pictures. It's kind of tough to keep it all together, but it definitely seems like lots of shots were fired. 3 people, it made contact with. I mean,
that's because you're reading. Yeah, that's because you're reading the New York. Now, when you're saying the rest of it's in New York, that's automatically going to be biased.
Well, I guess I'm just saying that if it's true that he shot all over the place and 3 of them, were horrible, it's not like every single bullet is doing something. You know, I don't know.
The other thing is you hear about drive-bys in East LA and Santa Ana, but you don't hear about them in Santa Barbara. Carmel, Malibu. Those areas you don't. I mean, it just doesn't happen. I mean, it does happen possibly, but not realistically because they're very wealthy, populated areas. You can't be poor in those areas for the most part, unless you're homeless, I guess.
Oh, yuck. The video is still posted. Yuck, I don't even want to watch it. You guys can watch it if you want. Give me the rundown, because I'm not going to watch this asshole. It's got 750,000 views already.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to.
750,000 views, only 3,600 thumbs down.
Yeah. I just might go over there and just add to the view count by just thumbing it down.
I accidentally opened it because I was seeing what the link was, and I feel bad that I registered a number, but there it is if you guys want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it.
I'd look for a mirror. I'd try not to watch it on his original account.
Good point. Yeah, that would be a good way to do it, technically.
Reduce the number of view counts, or at least spread the view counts throughout all the reposts that people have inevitably made.
Well, the link I posted was one to the Mirror or somebody else rebroadcasting it, or some news channel or whatever.
Yeah, it's better having it on the news channel, I think, than his direct one, because that is.
He said he had 400 rounds still left on him.
In the car.
In the car.
Oh.
Now, do we think that's in magazines, or
I don't know.
It sounds like
it's probably in boxes.
Yeah, this is sad. I'm reading off. I'm not going to read the article. I'm going to take Ohio 45 ACP's word for it. He said that this is a CNN article that the police said they made a visit to him and said he was shy and did not meet the criteria for an involuntary hold. So saying you're going to go and kill a bunch of people and commit suicide does not meet an involuntary hold.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that won't talk to anybody, but they'll sit there and talk to the camera like it's their confession booth. It's weird. I've seen it before. And they won't mouse, a peep to anybody, but the camera does spill their guts to.
I don't want to cast blame on the police. It's not their job to police, quote unquote, everyone to see if they're healthy or not, right? I blame his parents 100%.
The last thing we want is the thought police.
No, but
exactly.
Here's the thing: the parents were concerned, so they're the ones who called the police.
I hear you, but I mean, I'm not going to even suggest that it's their fault. It's that lone asshole's fault, and I am down for the concept that bad things are going to happen. You can't stop everything, but if there is somewhere to blame, it's not the gun, it's not the cops. It would be his parents, if anybody, and maybe his friends or whatever. I mean, I would like to think I would know if somebody was that wrong in their head to do something like that. And if it's, does it truly sneak up on people? It sounds like this guy's been getting help. His parents were concerned. At what point do you go, oh, well, it's not our right to, we don't know when this video, I guess, came out compared to when it happened. I mean, if it was 5 seconds before it happened, nobody could react. But if it was a week ago, come on.
They said it was a day before.
Yeah, they were saying it was a day before.
So what do you guys think? If somebody posts a video like that, is a day and enough time to go, well, let's see if he's calm or not? I mean, I guess it's a hard call.
No, but he had made other videos like that, I guess, before. That's what the parents had called and the authorities about were those videos, and they're finding it very shocking. I mean, if the parents are asking for help, I would think that the authorities would take that a little bit more seriously, which they did by going there, than just some random video being put up by some idiot who doesn't even mean to do anything about it, just wants to blow off steam. So that's something I'm thinking about. Donald said what's with the news reports emphasizing that the guns were semi-automatic handguns for, for shock value. And that's exactly it, because as soon as they say semi-automatic, it automatically puts in the mind of the gun-fearing public assault weapons.
Yeah, all they hear is the automatic. You could have just said pistol and described it just as well.
Might as well
Yeah,
take the machine gun.
No, but the thing is, when I say semi-automatic to gun people, they know what I'm talking about. But if I say semi-automatic to people who have no knowledge about guns, they miss the semi part, and they hear automatic and they think machine guns and military guns. That is what I have noticed when I say, it's a semi-automatic in there. Aren't those illegal? Because they're, what our Army uses? And I'm like, there's a big difference between automatic and semi-automatic. So I've had that run-in a few times with people that were not knowledgeable about guns or were not, gun-friendly to begin with. So I've had run-ins with anti-gunners before, so... By anti-gunners, I'm not talking about the out there screaming at the top of their lungs that all guns should be banned, but I'm talking about the people out there that just don't like guns. That's the media, and you can blame the media for making a focus on the type of firearm being used in terms that will scare the public. That's what they're out for, to scare the public. Because if they can scare the public, that means more people are going to watch. It means they make more money for their advertising.
But something I just realized, they say that, in the Huffington Post article, they make a point to say that police did not find any history of guns. Also, let's see what else. They say that his family did not, they were anti-gun, and so it seems like he got the gun himself. But California's got a 10-day waiting period on handguns, don't they?
I believe so.
Is
that for private sales also?
Actually, private sales didn't occur to me.
Private sales doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You can't do a private sale. You've got to do through the FFL still.
I thought they got rid of private sales in California.
Oh, okay.
They did. You can sell a gun to an individual in California. You just have to go to the gun shop and transfer it, but still have a 10-day wait period, everything else.
So I'm looking at the CNN, or listening to the CNN thing. What's a Eurasian? They call them a Eurasian.
EU are Asian?
Like European.
No, Europe Asian.
That's a thing now? I've never heard that. I think I heard it in Orwell's 1984, but I don't remember hearing it since then.
Yeah, it's saying his dad is from Europe and his mom's Asian or something like that.
The only thing I ever remember is the Eurasian continent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From like 1984 or whatever, the book. Like, I would think that's the first time I might have heard that word in a long, long, long time. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been first I heard of Eurasian. No, I've heard you're Asian before. Specifically when we're talking about Chris, but...
It's weird how this starts out with, like, correctly stating his name and then spelling it.
Yeah, and this is the thing that drives me crazy. And I did not look at shootings this weekend in Chicago because of how nice the weather has been in the Midwest this weekend. But I am sure that if once Memorial Day is over, that there's going to be stats up of how many people were shot over the weekend in Chicago, and I bet you it's going to rival the numbers that were killed by one person. But yet it will not have any media attention in the national news. Why? Again, where it happens. It's just like in Milwaukee. Milwaukee again is a small version of Chicago. If there's a shooting there, it doesn't even make Green Bay news. I mean, the only reason I find out about what happens in Milwaukee is listen to Milwaukee radio, which I can get up here. Yeah, and they brought up the exact same thing when they were talking about there's sadly 2 shootings happened this week already, and why they happen because I'm using their term, thugs are out because it's nice weather.
Now, Fox News, I'm reading Fox News, apparently after the parents several weeks ago complained about him putting videos up, says the police interviewed him and did not find any history of guns, but did say the man had trouble making friends.
Which is understandable if you have mental problems, which he obviously had something going wrong in his brain to do this in the first place. But and his history of seeing therapists, I mean, obviously there's there are deeper issues than just not being able to make friends.
Yeah, I agree, but the way they're reading it didn't find a history of guns, so as long as he didn't have a gun.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to say I don't have a whole lot of friends. I find people I like, and I'm like, why do I even have to bother extending that circle? But it doesn't make me just because I don't, have 50 friends or 100 friends or whatever people consider normal amount of friends that I'm going to be going out and shooting people.
I don't know. You can have 100 acquaintances. I don't know how you'd have 100 friends.
Whatever.
Be, people that you get along with that but you can't keep a relationship with 100 people, I don't think.
Well, I'm just saying whatever is normal. More than
it seems that a lot of people today misuse that term or overuse that term, friend. What they really mean is what G-Web said is they mean, oh yeah, they got tons of acquaintances. But you're lucky if you have a handful of true friends.
That I would say is very true.
JW says one of the articles he read, he said he had 2 pistols and a Glock.
Oh, he had 2 pistols and a Glock. I guess Glocks aren't pistols. Good to know.
I think this is Ed Isvan. He bought them a year ago, so he's had his guns for a year.
You have them on campus?
No, I don't know.
Well,
Does he live on campus?
Definitely sounds like he definitely sounds like he lived off campus. Because you don't have housemates on campus.
Oh yeah, and he's 22. There are very few people who are 22 and living on campus.
We have roommates on campus.
Yeah, but they call them...
Yeah, they did say housemates.
Housemates are a lot different than roommates. Roommates means like an apartment or a house. You can use the term interchangeably. You can't say housemates for an apartment, at least, or a dormer. Yeah, I just find that 2 pistols and a Glock very funny. I guess they've come out and said how many magazines he had. Looks like Donald said he had 30-something mags, all 10 rounds, 10 rounders.
Well, if he had a BMW to use in the drive-by, he had enough money to buy a pile of mags.
Yeah, well, sadly, he used. It looks like the other 2 guns were SIGs.
Oh, that's not going to matter from a media standpoint.
7 Glock 10-round mags and 20-something SIG mags. I mean, it's a black item, Glock and SIG.
Well, it said several of the dead were killed at a sorority house, so maybe he lived at a sorority house.
It's a good possibility.
If
I'm
he
surprised they're
lived in
not
a
focusing on the knife he used. Because really, I want to know what kind of knife he used.
Oh, his stepmom was in the movie with Green Zone with Matt Damon, and some other movie I've never heard of, Playing for Keeps.
Was there a significant female character in Green Zone?
Well, I don't know, did they say his mom's name? It's his stepmother, but they don't say her name, I don't think. This is in the CNN article. But yeah, the Green Zone, didn't they have like a female news reporter or something?
Oh, yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
By the way, the sheriff said the lock was a 34 longsword.
Son of a bitch.
BE's not going to be happy.
Sorry to laugh. It's not laughing matter, but it's that son of a bitch was funny. So
We can't let
welcome
Caleb
back,
know he'll
Nathan.
cry. If Caleb cries on camera, I'm never coming back here again.
I want to apologize, Cork. It turns out last night I clicked on something that said, go ahead and install Windows 8.1. And so I'm talking to you, and all of a sudden my computer reboots. And it says, don't worry, this will just take a minute.
Don't turn it off while it's doing the update.
Don't turn it off. Freaking an hour and a half later, it goes through, you know, like it tells you progress up to 100%. It did it 6 effing times.
Holy
minutes
moly.
plus a piece.
That's because all the tablets you got in your house that are downloading shit all day and hooking up.
But it was worth it. That little paperclip thing has like 6 or 8 more paragraphs of stuff to say to you.
Oh, now I got my taskbar back down on the bottom, which is, I guess, worth an hour and a half of my time.
But you got 6 times as much.
Windows 8 sucks, we all know.
Well, Windows 8.1, apparently, the only reason I clicked OK is because somebody said, oh, it's more like the old Windows where it has, you know, the start button and all that stuff. I was like, oh, cool, because it's such a pain in the butt. Without that, having to go find it. But, you know, anyway.
Well,
I'm sorry to derail your chat. Please continue. Where were we?
And this is, again, according to Donald, he introduced himself as a sheriff coroner.
We've been just reading a couple of the articles I'll post again for you here and just talking about that asshole in California.
You know, I always like to hire a sheriff who's also a coroner. You know, it cuts out the middleman, really shows that you're being cost effective, and, you know, being a coroner can't be that hard, so you should be able to do both jobs with full efficiency.
I guarantee.
Okay, well, this guy had 27 megs for the SIG P226. Oh, damn bastard.
He was a mag collector.
Okay, wait a second. But the guy had that many magazines and he shot 3 people?
He killed 3 people.
That's what I was saying too, because they talk about how many bullets he shot. However, I'll take that back because he did injure 13 people. So he was shooting at people. He just sucked at it. Well, then I shouldn't say that's bad. He was shooting at people. Only 3 people actually died so far from it.
3 of the 13?
No, there's 3 dead. There's 6 dead because he stabbed 3, which Clark is right to say, is important. But he killed a bunch of people. 3 of them he shot, and 13 of them we know are injured, but we don't know if he necessarily shot those 13 because he did, like Cork said, start out with a knife just stabbing people down the... They literally say in this one horrible article that it's the second one I posted there, the bottom one. They say in there, and I don't know, this is how the reporter put it. I'm just going to find it again here as I open it up, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. It's freaking, I can't believe they use these words, but it says something like, I can't find it now.
Well, a couple of people were injured when he hit them with the car. So
that's true. He also hit people with cars.
One of them was a
I can't find it, but it says something like he carved his way through. Oh, here it is.
A football field.
The lone gunman carved a football field length path of carnage.
Yeah.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Is that some guy trying to get his rocks off using good words or something? Isn't he supposed to be reporting the incident? Carved a football field length path of carnage. Can't believe any of those words got past an editor.
So he only went 300 yards from start to
Well,
finish.
you should realize that because here's the title of the article, and I'm just going to read the first 2 words. and this is in quotes, sexually frustrated.
Yeah, who ain't sexually frustrated? Come on.
Yeah, that would be most of us.
Hey, I'm looking at a picture of this kid. He's very pretty. He could go down anywhere on Hollywood Boulevard and find a guy to treat him nice.
Yeah, just go see Yankee. Yankee only charges 2 bits.
Wow.
Well, Yankee's not here to defend himself, so.
Best time to attack them.
Yep.
Exactly.
But then it's not like he's going to cite his sources to back himself up, right?
I guess he also wrote a 141-page manifesto.
Wow.
Yep.
My book project isn't even 120 pages long.
Well, I don't think there's any way to explain it, and there's no blame to cast. Bad things are going to happen in a nation of 300 and something million free people. But we're not focusing on the fact that this was in a gun-free state for the most part. In a gun-free zone is the school, and again, a victim, confinement zone basically.
Yeah, well, California.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but Rob is dead on with this one. I'll just copy and paste it over here so you guys can see it.
Oh, Rob, that is classic. Thank you very much for the
much mode levity.
To the point, you could say.
I mean, that's what I was thinking earlier, but.
There's never a lack of in California. They have their own union.
Well, it's California. There's enough said there.
Well, I mean, how far away is Vegas? I mean, day trip to Vegas and.
No, seriously, yeah, like Reno or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's again. This is on Fox, so you've got to
TJ myself.
Take this with a grain of salt because it is on Fox. This is from Donald again. A psychologist on Fox seriously said he was attacking women maybe because he was gay. I mean, really, that's our national media. It is Fox. I don't give Fox a whole lot of credit.
Well, also, it doesn't make sense because he could have just gone in Omegle and found a way to not be frustrated.
That is definitely true.
Okay, I do like this quote right here. Where did it? Dang it, I lost it. Oh, yeah, okay. He continued firing from 3 of his guns, which included 2 pistols and a Glock.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Did I miss it? I'm sorry. But I'm like, you guys are ridiculous. 2 pistols and a Glock. Obviously, the Glock, it being the superior Glock perfection, is beyond pistol. It's the next level. Even a layman could look at it and go, "That's not a pistol. That's a Glock."
Well, that's not a pistol, that's a block. You get the G and the B mixed up there, Nathan. You gotta stop that.
Yeah, he gets G and C mixed up.
Well, it's lucky they don't publish it as an assault block.
Well, again, because
seriously,
I'm surprised we got the information out. But why have they talked about the knife he used? Are knives not killing instruments? They sure the hell are. And again, it's our national media.
They killed half of the people that he.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've never heard.
Unless
the knife was like some big ass Bowie knife, I've ever heard anybody say, "Oh, he had an extra large or Bowie knife that he used to decapitate somebody."
I mean, even
say it's a knife.
Saying if it was, a kitchen knife versus a folding knife or a hunting knife.
Well, you had a wife chase you across the room with a knife. It doesn't matter which one it is. So,
well, that's your problem, Edge.
Been there, done that. Poor thing had to crack her neck.
Oh, wow.
Okay, did y'all read the part about the roommate being arrested for stealing $22 worth of candles?
We talked about that too, but what is your take on that?
Really, you're going to arrest people for candle theft in between two apartment roommates?
Exactly. That's like thinking again. Then it shows like how crazy the guy was or how off he was.
Well, but it also shows how crazy the cops are. They should show them
That's one of
give
those
his freaking
things.
candles back.
That's one of those things that I immediately wonder, where's the rest of the story? You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Frick, I had my roommate steal my.
Unless he was hiding the candles in a body cavity to hide it from the cops, I don't think he should have been arrested for it. But anyway.
Yeah. Sadly, I did have to call the cops when my roommate stole my Texas T85, and I saw it in his bedroom before he shut the door.
So you're
This thing, he didn't steal my calculator. I was the only one that had it.
Now, the real question is if...
And you know what the police made him do? They made him give me back the calculator. That's what the police do. They didn't take him downtown or anything. Gave me back my calculator.
The real question in my mind is it $22 worth of candles, or was it his leftover 22 birthday candles that he thought were stolen?
Did your roommate have to aerate the doll or fold it up before you get back to you?
Hey, a Texas T85, those were $100 back in the 90s, and that was a lot of money back then.
Was that the name of your doll?
No.
Oh.
By the way, am I the only one who is hearing like a little static every once in a great while?
I heard it whenever you were talking earlier at court.
Oh, weird.
I don't hear it now, though.
No, me either. It was just popping in. It sounds like it's coming from my television. That's why I was asking. So there might be something wrong with my HDMI cable. It might not be connected properly, so I was just making sure it was me.
Your CRT's buzzing.
Hey, I don't have a CRT. I'm using a Sony 20-something inch TV as my monitor.
It's cathode ray tube for you all that don't savvy.
Hey, it's a 1080p. You know, how else am I supposed to watch my adult material?
Here, kitty.
In private, without blow-by-blow commentary.
Well, that's exactly it. That's why I left it. I'm leaving it very polite. Anybody... I keep seeing these articles, and it's just driving me crazy. Gunman. Mass shooter. I mean, really.
Sometimes it's just better to turn that off.
Yeah, and I got a question. How do you stab 3 people to death without doing anything, waking up, the other housemates?
Well, you remember the OJ trial? That's what they said. He stabbed one like 50-something times, and the other one, they're like, "Would you stick around and watch?"
It is California. Maybe they were high.
Like, okay, don't go nowhere. You're next.
Dude, you totally stabbed. Ah!
Yeah, they might have gotten a little extra potent, pot. So
might have been why the candle thief was arrested in the first place.
Anybody got anything else to add?
It's like when you pull up to a restaurant and you see all the birds fly away, and all the animals start running. Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here. They're gone. They're gone. I'm gone.
Well, Antonio, I don't watch any national news. He says he'll still take his chances with Fox over the rest. Your choice is watching CNN, which is liberal. NBC, which is super liberal. Your choice is,
They say what makes news. I worked for the impound lot in Cleveland for a year, and they just tell you what they think people want to hear.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff isn't adding up to me too yet. I mean, there's definitely had to be more going on with being able to stab people to death in the house without causing a whole bunch of issues. Noise. Why did the other two roommates try to help when they saw him stabbing the first guy, or did he wait till they were,
I thought it was like in the early morning. I heard it this morning when I was coming home from work. So
well, they're saying it happened last night, like 9 o'clock or something like that.
Right. So they might have been asleep already.
You're talking about college kids Friday night?
Yeah, true.
At 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Maybe waking up so they could go out.
That was the only thing that would make, but still. You gotta be pretty dang quiet to be able to sneak up on somebody, just taking a nap. So there's definitely got to give more information on what happened with the stabbing. And of course, since they were stabbings, they're not gonna be concentrating on that. They'll be concentrating on what
he did his research. He stabbed them in the lung. They really don't got a lot of screaming to do. On the backside.
You got your other lung, though. That's the thing. Yeah. If you want to silence somebody, you got to slash their throat.
See, the news is just saying the shootings began around 9:27 p.m. Friday.
Yeah, and I don't think that he stabbed those guys like the night before or something like that either. I just don't see that happening. They would have. They would have brought that up that they happened in the morning or something like that. It sounds like once he got his bloodlust up, I think that's when he went to do the shooting, and part of the noise makers were chasing each other. Hey, Ed, you're making noise without being muted.
Yeah, I know. Yes, hello. Everybody.
Oh, excuse me, Walter. Sorry. I thought you were talking to your dog.
Oh,
Dumbass.
Oh, we took care of that problem. Sorry about that. I thought it was you and talking to the dog.
I don't have to talk to the dog. We mind melded already.
All right. Anybody got anything else they want to bring up after reading all these articles?
Yeah, I definitely don't have anything to add to this one.
I didn't know it was possible, but I lost more respect for the media reporting it.
That is very. I can keep going on about how the media is so biased and so fear-mongering is a good word. They want to scare the populace. It's a way they draw the revenue, and that's.
They don't even try to hide it nowadays.
No.
I mean, it's so blatantly obvious to anyone who's actually still remembers how to critically think.
I'll just jump back and say that the way that they wrote this is, again, just like they're cherishing it. Like they're like, just you can tell they're just. I mean, I'm not going to say they're evil. I don't think they're evil. Like I was going to say, I don't think they're grinning. I don't think they're evil, but they're definitely capitalizing on this, and they could care less about our freedoms, except for the first. Somehow they think the first can stand alone, but except for their ability to say whatever they feel like, you can tell they care. They don't care about the country. They care about whatever their source of pride and compared to or from their colleagues or whatever.
That is very true. I get this feeling that the producers of these, news shows are, creaming themselves when they hear about this because they know that it's going to draw audience. They know their ratings are going to go up. They know that they're going to make the station more money so that they're going to maybe get a bonus. So, yeah, it is all money-driven why they do this stuff. And I've seen some reporters just be overly cheerful to report bad news. And I think it's extremely tasteless, tacky. That's why I don't watch those. And One of them, thank God, is no longer on air on CNN, thanks to him being canned. But you ever watched him? He seemed to be happy every time something bad happened.
Yeah, because it reinforced their position in their minds. So they were like, "See, we won. See."
Yep.
So I'm looking at the CNN article, and there's the main article, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 other video or other articles, I guess. Maybe they're videos. But so I mean, when's the last time you saw like a spelling bee or something, like somebody cured some kind of disease or whatever, and it gets the main news like article and the 12 follow-ups? Like, that means at least 12 different reporters, went out and did their own investigation or whatever, or like their little aspect of it. Like they swarm on it like a feeding frenzy.
Like flies on crap.
Like paparazzi spotting Madonna naked or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they could have been doing 12 other things today. I mean, obviously they want to cover something that's important to the country, I guess, in some respects. But come on, 13 articles tonight.
I just watched the video, and if this guy's making other videos like this, which it said he was, and the cops went to do a welfare check, and they said, "Oh, he's nice when he answered the door." It's like, did y'all watch the videos? I mean, how many warning signs do you need that this guy's crazy? He makes videos saying he's going to go kill himself and kill other people. What else do you need?
And then it said that he took them down. He had it made, like he said, he did earlier ones. It said somewhere in one of these articles I read that he took them down. Because
his parents sent the cops out to get him.
Yeah, he said he took him down because his parents were getting upset by him. And then he posted this other one and then did it. So, again, I don't want to blame the cops. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. I don't want to blame the cops because I don't want to live where just because someone thinks you're crazy, the cops come and grab you away. But I would say, the people in his life need to take some of that a little bit, I think.
Okay, so
what I think may have happened, let me tell you what I think happened. Yeah. After I found out the videos were taken down. What I think happened was his parents called the kid and talked to him about it. He went and deleted the videos, and the police did not have a chance to see those videos, so they just went and talked to him. They did not have any proof besides what the parents said and how the kid acted. And they cannot just take the parents' word in that situation. Now, if they had video proof that the kid was saying some stuff that was definitely crazy, then maybe they should take him for an involuntary hold, but I'm taking the police at their words that they just were able to see how the kid interacted with them, and that's what they had to go off of.
I mean, I know my parents, I don't know his parents, but I suspect that if I'm guessing this kid was in college, right, 22?
Yeah.
Still in school or whatever.
Yeah, he was definitely in college.
That if I would have done anything, that's weird. That, number one, I didn't ever have a BMW, but I would have my BMW taken away, and they'd probably make me come back home, and like live there until I started acting normal again. I just don't, this kid's out, having his own life and a car and stuff. I mean, how do you do that when it's your own child doing that kind of weird shit? I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem it's up to me.
No, it's a difference if he's 17 and if he's 22.
Not to your mom. I'm 40-something. If my mom thought I was being weird, I'm sure she'd do something about it. I just don't see her saying, "Oh well, let's see what happens." You're threatening to kill everyone with like all kinds of graphic, details, and we'll just see.
Yeah, you're not only threatening to kill people, you're doing it on camera and then uploading it. So this isn't like you just were upset.
Exactly.
It wasn't like you were upset and said it to another person you were in an argument with. You filmed yourself in a car by yourself and uploaded it. It's premeditated. It's methodical. I mean, I can't think of any other way to, by filming myself by myself and then uploading it to the internet for everyone around me to see, saying I'm going to do something horrible. I can't think of any other way I could really, besides walking to a police station and telling them face to face that I want to do all these things, besides walking to a police station and saying it, how else can you cry out for help? And you know what I'm saying? Like, what does it take? You actually have to shoot someone in California.
You wouldn't be famous for the rest of time if you walked into a police station.
Mental health issues. Every junior college, every university I've been to, my kids have been through, my friends have been to, they all have them. And this is going back to the 70s. Now, maybe before that they didn't have them. But there's always been crisis line numbers that students have been able to call when they're in trouble.
So did this dude take himself out, or did he get hit?
He shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Okay.
After he ran over a bicyclist who went through his window, which I didn't read if he shot him or not.
No, that was the third weapon he used, his vehicle.
Okay, so
It says he just drove off.
Did the bicyclist survive?
Yeah, he survived.
I mean, he's probably one of the 13 injured, because it says something in one of the
He probably
articles
had a
that he's
helmet
injured.
on, and he probably had a helmet on and got injured. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
going
'cause
through the car windshield isn't going to feel good, yeah.
Well, no, I'm envisioning if I'm a gunman and somebody comes through my car windshield before I shoot myself, I'll be like, oh.
Well, see, I don't feel sorry for a cyclist. They're
Oh, I
always
see what you're
away.
saying. Did you see that he was eating dinner or something, and then, like, after he did all this craziness, he went and ate dinner, and then he shot at somebody at least while he was eating dinner, and then got up and started shooting at cops and the rest of the shit and killed them.
What gets me is, it is California, so I'm sure the bike will survive because he is in the
I mean, the cyclists have to do it.
BMX armor, because isn't that like mandatory for all bicyclists in California?
Cyclists are asking for, by riding on popular roads and stuff.
But the one guy was a skateboardist, so the article said that he called his mom, told him that he had just been hit by a black BMW, being chased by cops. So
I'm pretty sure skateboarders don't count.
Yeah, and Robbie, if
they're not going to count knife victims in this rampage, skateboarders certainly don't count for it.
I used to be a skateboarder and I had a great time, but
and this is from Robbie, and this is coming after the fact that he said, this is again from Robbie. One of his therapists reported a week ago that he was a danger to himself and others. Whatever that therapist reported to, they did not take any action or.
Yeah, I thought doctors were supposed to, were required to do something if somebody's in danger.
Right. Now, if that is true and he reported to the police and the police did that welfare check, then there's something wrong with the police not following through. But I don't think that's what happened. What I think happened is that there's probably so many reports of this to police departments every day that they can't do them all, the day they get the report. They have to, put them in a queue and then do them when they have free time available to go and check.
I agree with Donald. I can't believe that his YouTube page is still up. That's insane. However, now that I think about it, the Tucson guy, his YouTube stuff was up for a while. I mean, I don't know if it's an excuse or not, but that was like 2008, right? But still, they left his stuff up for a while too, so people could see his stupid ranting or whatever.
Okay, hold on. Let me just put all this together here because, sorry, I came in late. But he's had 3 altercations with the police in about 6 months, right?
Yep.
He's had one of his multiple therapists report him within the last week that he's a danger to himself and others.
Yep, multiple therapists. Good point.
He has put up YouTube videos of filming himself by himself, threatening to kill himself and others, and posted them on the internet. And was the 141-page manifesto on his internet page too?
I don't know if it was on an internet page or it was on his computer.
I'm going to bet if he's putting up YouTube videos, he probably had it linked on his blog.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. But
I'm just saying, at what point can somebody step in California and do something about this? I mean, seriously. I mean, how many more warning shots? Sorry, how many more warning? I don't know what you call it.
Alarms.
How many more warnings can he throw out to the public?
Seriously. And then they're going to spend, at least on this daily news article, they're going to spend like 6 paragraphs talking about how the father of one of the victims says it's the politicians and the NRA's fault.
Okay, well, look, the father's grieving.
Oh, I know. They're exploiting the father.
They're exploiting the father, and the father doesn't know what's... Okay, so the father's in no condition to evaluate what's going on, and actually make a rational
But
statement.
he's being urged to. He's got freaking 12 microphones
Yeah, they're
in front of his
sticking.
face at a
They want
podium
him to scream and yell, and
when
take
he hasn't had
advantage of
time
it.
to think. Exactly.
Yeah, they want to exploit his pain, and he's going to say whatever comes to his head. And he's in California out there, so he's living in a anti-gun state to begin with, so he's probably going to be anti-gun, and it's kind of sickening to me. And you're going to look at it, and you know what? He blames the politicians in part, and I'm going to agree, but not for the same reason. I'm going to say that I blame the politicians that they don't have laws in effect in that state, to take people off the street like this. Come on.
Well, but I mean, again, I don't want to say that we need to be. This is one person out of a whole bunch of people that went crazy or whatever. Is it the state's job to keep track of us all, or is it just if again this guy planned all this shit? Would he be planning that stuff? I mean, did he plan on going to a state where there's carry? Did he plan on going somewhere where people could defend themselves? He planned on going to a victim zone. He planned on going to a gun-free school.
Hold on. He was a college student at that college.
I know, but he didn't choose to go to the police station and to do all this.
Well, but he, in watching him for his 7-minute manifesto, he went after the people he was angry at. Okay, which is normal for most of these people. They pick a group to blame for their own unhappiness, and they become their targets.
I like that CNN.
Right, but I'm just saying, if they lived in a state where you had, let's say, campus carry, I mean, even if he decided to go crazy, I mean, they talk about how he was pounding on the sorority's door for a while, and then just decided to shoot the people standing out front. I mean, at some point I'm assuming a crowded thing, if he was able to carve a football-sized thing of carnage or whatever, that if it was a carry campus, somebody would have done something. Somebody would have ran to a car and solved this.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gotten as far
potentially
in a carry state. I don't think he would have gotten nearly as far.
I like that CNN video with the blonde girl where like she starts crying and she's all getting all broken up and they're like, it seems like they edited it. They're like, okay, hold on, the camera's on, hun. Okay, and then they come back and she's all like clear-minded. She's like giving her recollection of the event. I was like, yeah, it's a lot of editing there.
So here's another question is, did he buy the firearms himself? Did he obtain them illegally, or did he steal them from Daddy's house? I mean,
No, he bought them a year earlier.
Oh, he's had them a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had them a year.
The other pistols, the ones that weren't Glocks, were 6.
Okay, so hold on. He's had them a year, and he's undergoing multiple doctors giving him psychological therapy. He's got Asperger's, and he's on medication. Okay. Yeah, I would leave him with the guns for the past year. Even though he's posting videos, he wants to kill people.
We'll think about this.
California is the state when you're a felon, they now have the right to knock on your door, then bust down your door, take your firearms because you became a felon. So, but they don't have the right to do that, I guess, like after all the stuff you just listed.
Well, think about this. I mean, look in the Los Angeles area, the Santa Ana area, where there's high crime, where 3 people get killed every other night, if not every night at all. And this is being publicized because it's being really blown up because it was in a well-to-do area, mainly dealing with a different demographic of people instead of gangsters killing each other. This happens all the time, but they're not reporting that. 3 people got killed last night in South Central Los Angeles.
Yeah, good point. Cork was saying the same thing about Chicago.
Yep.
You have to kill blonde sorority girls to get on the news, because if it's dark people on dark people crime, they're not going to bother reporting it.
All right, according to Robbie, I don't know where Robbie's getting this information
You
from.
call them dark people for that.
Again, this is a quote from Robbie, diagnosed as being high-functioning patient with Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah, it says he has Asperger's, and I mean,
I don't see what that has to do with
I'm not familiar with that. Does anybody know how to describe that? What is that?
Asperger's is on the autism spectrum. Very low.
It usually means you're kind of smart too, for the most part, and I've seen that label put on some people that look like they're complete dumbasses, at least by their background, but yet they're given that the guy who invented BitTorrent, the torrent is also, I think, he had Asperger's too, and he used that to motivate him to become successful, not to drag him down into peril.
Okay, here's another thing I would like to point out. Is he's 22. I watched him for 7 minutes there. He is a perfectly good-looking kid driving a 3 Series BMW. If he's not ever even kissed a girl, obviously he's saying crazy crap when he meets her.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. He's some kind of psycho saying, so you want to
have stab you until your mushy guts bleed out.
Yeah.
And he calls himself, hold on, he calls himself the perfect gentleman.
Yeah, I don't know what chicks don't dig me, man.
I don't know what chicks don't dig me in my Beamer and me being cute.
Yeah, so the kid, I was thinking the same thing. I looked at him. He's thin. He's not unattractive, but he has that fucking eyes like a predator, psycho mentality thing going on. I'm like, yeah, that could do it. You can clear a room with your eyes and just a real bad stare. That'll work sometimes with the chicks. It doesn't hapen.
I'm gonna say it's so beautiful. I'd like to wear you as a coat.
Nathan definitely has. Nathan's definitely sexually attracted to mass murderers.
This kid's lucky he shot himself.
If he went to prison, he'd be like everybody's
very popular.
They'd be like, "Hey, baby."
He would have been. I wish he hadn't shot himself. I wish he had gone to the big house.
Well, again,
it'd be top shelf dessert.
Yeah, according to the Fox psychologists, they think that he was a closeted gay, basically, so that's why he was targeting women. Would have loved it.
That's a lot to assess from. I mean, it's from even a professional to assess that just from reports without any thorough investigation going through and digging up all the paperwork. That's a lot.
This is Fox.
It's a lot to throw out there without any really thorough background and a certified background into what where he's coming from. We can only assess like we can with any media reports that about 50% of it is all bullshit.
Yeah, the first time I met Edge, I thought he was gay. So.
Well, that's because you hit on me and I told you no. I said I'm not on the first date.
Well, I'll tell you this. He's out in California. I mean, if he didn't, I don't see that kid with the director in Hollywood. I don't see him being closeted in anything. If he wanted to, if he had that urge, he could do it there. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's like, I think it's a load of. I think they're full of crap. He obviously was angry at women because they snubbed him. That's why he's angry at them.
Yep.
And if he was leaning the other way, he probably would have had more success with the women that he tried to. Anyway, but it's ridiculous. What his sexual orientation, it's the rejection.
What ethnicity is his family by? I know it does have a role sometimes to play with pressure.
Euro-Asian, they call them.
Because I met some people named Roger and they're Puerto Rican sometimes, and that's a big no-no in Puerto Rican families.
Hey, we don't not remember he's known as asshole. We met some asshole.
Okay. Well,
yeah, so we do not give the asshole any name.
Major pork asshole. Sorry.
So I'm reading the definition of the Asperger's, and it takes me to this other thing. So what is one-sided verbosity? Or verbosity?
I don't know, but that's a big word.
Yeah,
we need
that's a $10 word. That's a $20 word right there.
It tells me like, oh, here's one of the symptoms of it. It's got one-sided verbosity. Then I go and I type one-sided verbosity into Google, and it goes, oh, that's one of the symptoms of Asperger's.
This is the one time you wish Yankee was in the chat.
Now you're ready to be a doctor and give that certification on people. Like, there you are.
I'm stuck in
here we go. Using excess words.
I don't know.
Using excess words. I use excess words.
What does Asperger's have to do with the shooting?
I just did it. I wasn't familiar with it.
Donald King would have Asperger's syndrome.
He has.
Donald King makes up words. Donald King, the promoter.
Here's the thing. Anyone who has some sort of cuckoo-cachoo issue is going to be labeled. Okay? If you're going to therapist, they are going to categorize you and label you somehow. And they're going to give you medications. Period.
Seriously, they say verbosity, I guess, or verbosity, and then paying attention to one preoccupation with a narrow subject. So basically, because I like bayonets and I say a lot of words, I think I got Asperger's. I need to what do I take for this?
Yes, I'm sure.
I think it's a focus issue that you can't get off of it, and unfortunately, sometimes. That's
obsessive compulsive behavior.
Yeah. That you can't focus off one subject to the other, and
so for him it was not getting cheerleaders or something. It sounds like, or not being popular or whatever he said.
I don't even think it's about popularity.
He had all the cards dealt to him. You know, he's rich. He's not a bad, unattractive person, if you will. I mean, that right there gets you it gets you a long way in high school, and but doesn't seem like that. That wasn't good enough because again, he probably was obsessed with some detail or the other that's probably going to come out one way or the other, and that's going to link him to his disorder.
Well, I mean, and again, good-looking kid driving a Beamer can't get girls to kiss him. There's got to be something way off in his mental state. He's saying things to people that is scaring the tar out of him, obviously.
Dang, now I'm reading about Asperger's, and I'm like, damn, I wonder if I have Asperger's.
Are you fitting the bill there, Chip?
I'm about to say, probably about a third of us in this chat probably fit half the definition of that one.
Honestly,
it's called a work ethic and being able to focus.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I mean, every hobby I've taken on, a task I've taken on, I just get into it to where I'm like overwhelmed with it, and I try to do as best as I can, but I deal with the fact that you can't be the best at everything.
You know what?
You might use a heck of a lot of words in that sentence.
My father is incredibly intelligent. He will get so focused on solving a problem, he will not eat. He will go at it for hours and hours and hours, and nobody's labeled him with anything except that he's an aerospace engineer.
You say the apple does fall far from the tree, doesn't it?
Well, I'm not as smart as he is, definitely not, but he's an aerospace engineer. He's obsessive compulsive, and it's not a mental disorder. It's something actually that helped him in his career and made him very good at what he did.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard about people like that too, but it's hard holding down the marriage sheet sometimes unless people are willing to deal with something like that. It's a trade-off.
My dad had no problem. He's been married for 50 years. Not 50, 45, something like that. He's been married to my mom forever. Anyway, but I mean, he's very focused and stuff. But everyone likes him. I mean, he's one of those. Does anyone know engineers? He's an engineer type.
I met some engineers that are real cool. I met some ones that are douchebags. So I mean,
he's a fairly cool engineer.
Okay.
Like super focused and driven, but like you say, that's what we used to call people that were successful and like ultra driven.
Yeah, he's super focused. He's driven. He's very good at what he does. And he has no problem with relationships with other people.
I'm laid back, like at work with the background stuff, but when it comes to my job, my part that I have to execute in a milestone or on time manner to meet the deadline, and that's when I don't fuck around. I'm like, yeah, sorry, dude, you need to help me to get here and this and that, and I'm just dead set on stuff because that's the part people are depending on, and it's a shift. You go from being real laid back to cool to like, hey, I need to get this done. I need your help right now, and it's a team effort. But some people are like that, and that's why I focus on it. And I tell people, as much as I like to joke around and kid around, I'm dead serious when it comes to my name being put on a project that I have to basically sign off, and it's going to be viewed and archived that my name was on it.
Well, part of my point is let's take someone, if y'all have known Marines. If you took a Marine and just took them to a normal California psychologist and didn't tell them that he was a Marine and they just talked to him for a while, they would label him all sorts of crazy. But again, it's a well-built, structured crazy that helps them be a Marine and do that sort of a job. So it's just funny. We like to label people with all these different things. But here's the thing: is once they're labeled, all you can do is give them medication. You can't actually do anything to them. You know.
I will say that we are getting off topic here. I think we've talked out this topic pretty much about the shooting. I do have to say he's an asshole. Bad things are going to happen. Media bias is going to make this worse. So they're going to call him a mass shooter, even though half the deaths were caused by a knife.
Hold on, I don't want to be too pessimistic. I was just looking at that garbage CNN article, and down at the bottom it has a link to like all the worst tragedies using firearms, I guess, in the U.S. And that the one that they say is the most deadly so far, or the most people at least, was that guy at the Navy place. And that really didn't, I mean, I don't want to talk shit, but that, you know, knock on wood, that didn't create too big of a backlash for anti-gun stuff.
Well, because the Naval Yard shooting, that was the one that happened out east. And
I mean, you're going to have a bias to it.
But I'm just saying, I mean, maybe it is true that after 12, when they saw that we're not going to take that shit anymore, maybe the politicians are smart enough to know, well, even though we might feel personally we want to go after this,
it would have been,
they're not going to go for it, and it's not a good time to do it. I mean, I just don't want to be pessimistic. Maybe they won't.
No. Well, what I'm getting at here, and again, it's a weapon that was used, and he used a shotgun.
And the man who used it, he was an African American who worked for them.
Yeah.
So,
and also look at what the president.
Not only that, he had clearance. He had clearance at one time, so his background was
admitting that he's a bad guy would be admitting.
I've got to say, after what Biden and Obama, Obama pulled a shop using a shotgun. Biden saying to use a shotgun, they could not go after the shotgun.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. They told them They told everyone to use a double-barrel shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been right in their face. They knew that. Yeah.
That's why they didn't go after it. Otherwise, that would have been done with any other firearm.
But still, I'm going to suggest that this guy did have firearms. Obviously, we're not going to deny that. But he also stabbed 3 of the 6, and he hit some guy with his car. So I'm just hoping that maybe this will come and go with what it is, a horrible tragedy, and that maybe it's time to look at, because it does reinforce the one thing that's been in common with all these people is that they're being watched and they're on medications and all that stuff.
The unique part of the story, which, he got the guns legally. That means even our system that we have in place for making sure the guns don't fall in the wrong hands doesn't work.
We got them legally in California too, which is.
Whoa! Hold on. I don't want to. I don't want to defend it, but you can't say that it doesn't work because it's one guy out of 350-something million. I'm not suggesting we need to keep it because I think it's a waste of time. But it's not a.
But next time they bring up the fact that criminals are getting guns illegally, well, criminals are getting guns legally too.
Right, and
more often, the massive bad ones are getting them legally. So they don't do anything to stop horrible people from doing horrible things. That's for
exactly. Sure. That's why I bring this up. That gun law, the background checking, is ineffective.
They also have too many other red flags on this guy for it to be a really good debate. You know what I'm saying? When they get on air and they start debating other people where they have the opposing side and they go, well, this guy, shot people with guns when he get rid of guns. And then the person goes, he made a YouTube video saying he was going to kill people and nobody did anything about it. They have so many things they can counter say in a debate that there's not much that's going to come out of this, I don't think. I think G. Webbs is right. There are too many other red flags that were missed to blame it on guns.
Right. Well, and one of the big things is he started off by using a freaking knife, and there's no call for knife laws.
And that obviously was the most successful weapon he used. It was better than the car. It was better than the guns.
No, the guns did 3, so it was tied with the guns.
Well, the guns did 3, but he fired a whole lot of shots.
Yep, exactly.
Everyone he attacked with a knife, I think he got.
Well, and he also we wounded 13 people. So, I mean, that is something to be said. But I'll still stand with the position that if it was some perfect world for idiots that think there's guns would be with no guns would be a perfect world, this guy would have planned ahead and made pipe bombs, and then he would have killed way more people. Or he would have set the building on fire or something.
And that's one of my points is a lot of these guys are using handguns, and handguns are very inefficient at killing people, especially in hands that are not professionally trained. So I mean, that it is, you know, if he had built bombs or set fire or done any other horrible things, he would have a much higher success rate.
Well, and that's the part that I hate to ever bring up, but I tried to say that before, that, yeah, I mean, we should be happy that these guys have guns because they don't know how to use them. They don't go take a whole bunch of marksmanship classes and then a bunch of training classes and then practice a bunch of times. They do this at the spur of the moment. They don't know what they're doing. This same article says he shot like 20 rounds in the air, not, missing everybody. And, I mean, yeah, it's a horrible, horrible thing, but, yeah, burning the place down would have been worse, right? And that's way easier.
Right. I mean, this guy didn't land many hits.
Even a smart gun wouldn't have changed it.
Yeah, good point.
He that's an excellent
point. Yeah.
That's extremely good point. A smart gun would not have changed because he would have gotten it legally. If it was a smart gun and someone tried to wrestle that smart gun away from this asshole and then use it on him, it would not have worked for that good guy. Oh, also look, they've got the bullet button in California, so that didn't work.
Well, that only applies to rifles, though.
Well, that's only rifles, it's not handguns? I thought it was handguns, too.
It only applies to rifles that have evil features.
Oh, okay. Never mind that statement, I did not know. I don't know all the California laws, so... Yeah, so it goes to show you that evil people will do evil things no matter what the means that they use for a weapon, whether it be a car, a plane, or a firearm. And also, the knife thing I'm bringing up too because we just recently had a school stabbing. Yet that got a couple minutes of airtime and it was over. That did not get the coverage, and that was at a school. You could use a knife at a school. It was a freaking kitchen knife. What happened? He couldn't get his hands on anything else, so he used a kitchen knife. You're not taking away kitchen knives because they could be used for a bad thing.
Yet.
Yeah, that's. Well,
we can spread peanut butter with butter knives. We don't need to have those crazy sharp battlefield knives around.
Well, that kind of brings to an interesting point there, G-Wubs. In Great Britain, after the World War II, they I guess they had a bayonet problem, I think. So they were basically taking every knife from the citizens over a certain length. So citizens were turning in their kitchen knives because they're over a certain length. I have to go do the research, but that's scary. No, you're gonna carve up your turkey with a little 2-inch long paring knife.
Hey, I just found a really good feel-good article. They sent a bunch of Marines from Camp Lejeune over to train park rangers in Africa to protect elephants from poachers.
That's awesome. We'll leave that for the afterchat since I think we're pretty much wrapped up on this this mass murderer, mass killer. Again, I'm not going to say that he's a a gunman. That's part of the story. So I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. We've had a good one. We're going to continue our general chat over at the Gun Channel's site on the lobby chat.
Shall we adjourn to the lobby?
That's exactly where we're going. I want to thank everybody for
cigars and brandy.
And if you're watching this or listening to this on a podcast, if it's worthy enough, thank you for listening.
Yep.
Night
Thanks for having me, Court.